welcome to the Uncensored live Q&A session, the trading talk. My name is Danny and I will give you the webinar today. Before we begin, as always, I would like us to go through a quick sound check to make sure that the sound is okay and that you can see the chart here. You can feel free and use the question section to comment that the sound is okay and that the screen is okay as well. So to begin with, what we're going to do before we will take off and begin with the webinar, I would like us to go through the nice presentation here, and we'll see how the webinar is going to happen, and then we can carry on with ease. Okay, so firstly, we will have the agenda is we'll have the previous questions, then dynamic questions, which are questions that you guys can ask along the webinar. Link information and webinar privileges is where I can send you some links to save you the trouble and the time to find it on your own. And then analysis is usually something we're covering through the questions, but if it won't happen, so perhaps we can do it with this nice slide. And okay, it's important to know that any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only. It should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Now, guys, the good thing about this webinar is that it's live, but it's also recorded. That means that if there are things you've missed or some things you want to recap, you can just comfortably go to our channel on YouTube and see it from our library. Same for the rest of the webinars that we're giving. They're all recorded. They're all they are all can be found there as well. Okay, so I'm just making sure that everything is okay, and then I'll be right back and we will begin. So I'll be right back. Thank you very much. Great. So everything seems fine. Let's just review the questions that we have to begin with. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Just a second. All right, so how to do risk money management. Okay, how to optimize perhaps a better entry. Okay, how much of my margin I should use in a position? This is a very good question. Can someone from AvaTrade trade on my behalf? We already know the answer for that. The answer is no, but I'll show you some nice solutions. Who can help me if I have an issue? Okay, yeah, well, that one is easy as well. But I have to say, guys, that the questions are a bit smaller than I recon, right? Let's make them a little bit, maybe this much. Yeah. Well, with the age, the ability to see things going down, like the market. Okay, so let's get this question. We have a question here from Philip. Do you have a LinkedIn account for following? Maybe. Unfortunately, Philip, I am only under the umbrella of AvaTrade. I've got these questions many times. Unfortunately, I can't share with you my LinkedIn to follow, but you can enjoy the webinars we have here. And you have somebody who is assigned on your file, which is a senior account manager, and he can give you some very nice inputs. Okay, so you can ask for a senior account manager and just get dedicated assistance. Yeah, but this is, thank you for actually asking. That's great. So let's just go one by one and see how we can go about it. So the first question is how to do risk money management. Let's just, guys, understand first of all what risk money management is, because we get this. Sure, if somebody has been trading for if somebody has been trading for a while, risk money management is one of the first things you encounter. Okay, just before we carry on with ease, just a brief explanation about this interface, right? So this interface is called a web trader. There's no need to download or install anything. It's on the website just by logging into avatrade.com. There is no really much to it. You just log into the website. You're supposed to see that. Otherwise, if you're seeing something else, you can just send an email to cs@avatrade.com, cs@avatrade.com, and they will apply it on your behalf. All right. Now, how to do risk money management? First of all, risk money management is to be able to take a position with determining how much is my exposure, how much can I lose out of my balance. So for instance, if I'm going to take a position now, okay, no, I can't even do that with the leverage I have. Let's go for this as an example. Now let's take it down to 85. Sorry, that's a little too much. Are we with a buy? Yeah, we are with a buy. So that means that our stop loss needs to be thing we reduce. That one will. Okay, so if for instance I'm planning to take a position, 2 lots with Australia, with Aussie versus Japanese yen, and I see, okay, I can lose. Let me first give you a guide through about how this whole thing works. But just to show you an example, let's suppose that I want to take a position now with Australian versus Japanese yen, and I see, thanks to the platform and thanks to the take profit and stop loss simulation, I see that my potential gain is 6,000, 6.6, and I can lose 6.4. Okay, let's break it down what stop loss and take profit means. Okay. Right, so take profit closes the position automatically with a profit. With a profit, I think that's pretty much enough. Close the position with a profit. Okay. By reaching the price. Okay. That means, in other words, guys, that I can simply target a certain price as my destined take profit or stop loss, and if it reaches the level that I marked, what's going to happen is it's simply gonna, let's change it to weeks. Okay, what's going to happen is I'm simply gonna close the position automatically if it reaches that price. In other words, 105. No, we're not going to see that. Say 105. Sometimes it doesn't let us. Oh, there we go. So 105, that's here. Now, I don't want to keep messing with the number till I reach 105, right? Because it's not going to let me, it's not going to let me land it on the exact number. So if I don't want to keep hustling through the numbers, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to change in the coordinates 105. What did I do? Sorry. Well, our line disappeared. Let's place another one. Going to take that one and place it on the chart. Very simple, guys. Let me show you again. Clicking on the arrow, fetching a line, placing it on the chart. Now I'm going to click it as I said, and I'm going to simply put here 105, and then I hit the save. Okay, jumped right where I needed it, and another one at 95. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to click on the line, place it somewhere, click on it, changing it to 95. Very simple. Okay, and then I can see everything. Okay. Now I see that based on the take profit simulation, I can make 6.5. Based on the stop loss simulation, I can lose 6.4. Now, as we understood, risk money management allows us to manage our risk. In other words, out of a balance of $10,000, As you can see here, this is my balance, right? Let's put it down here. So we have balance 10,000, and we have just 2 lots, right? So we have, okay, now that's very simple. We have 2 lots, or yeah, 2 lots, because it's currencies, it's 200. As you can see, from what we changed it, as you can see, we're going to just simply divide it. All right, so we have 33 pips. And the time we took 1 month, you don't need to know that. What I'm writing down, you don't need to know that. Okay. Now, as we can see, the take profit and the stop loss is simulating us 6,500 we can make and 6,500 that we can potentially lose, roughly. Okay, it's going to be different because of the spread. Can't be the same. The buy and the sell, same result can never be the same. As you can see, there is a spread here. Okay, and now when I'm looking at this position, I can understand that I can basically lose more than half of my account only on that position. In other words, 64% out of 10,000. Yeah, I don't need to be too expert to know that this is, it might be considered as high exposure. Okay, now obviously if I minimize that from 2 lots to 1 lot, the impact of my position will change as well. Now it's 3, as you can see, this 3 and 3, right? And if I minimize it even more, it goes down even more, and now it's only 3%. Okay, but I want to know, okay, so this is one position, and I want to know how can I manage it? How can I, okay, so I understood that if I reduce the lot, and also if I get the stop loss closer, then I can get it lower. But how low and how exactly does that work? Okay, so for our example, let's take, just a second, let's take something generic, Euro USD. Okay, and we're gonna try and simulate something a little smaller than 2 lots. Let's begin with half a lot, see how far we can get with that. And we're gonna simply change, let's change it in a second. Okay, so this is one position. Let's call it position A. Okay, we're gonna see in a second. Balance doesn't need to change. We're just gonna take that segment. And we are going to simply paste it this way. Okay, so that is a question mark. Actually, because this hasn't been done properly and that there is no calculation in here, I think we can actually have that written in here. Okay. All right. So again, we are looking at Euro USD. Okay, very simple here, 0.5. Let's first, again, we're going to simulate the numbers here, and then we're going to put it down here, and not as we usually do, because we don't want to waste a lot of time explaining about all the calculations. Later on, I'm going to paste maybe 2 or 3 positions, and we're going to go through everything all together. Okay, and I will explain to you on the way how it's been done. Now, as I said, we're looking at Euro USD. Just to have an idea of the average movement, I'm going to apply the ATR. Okay, we're looking at month, but we're going to change it to 2 days maybe. Okay, we're going to change it to days. If something is not understood, guys, you can tell me if I'm going too fast. This is not really a beginner's webinar, so I allow myself to go in regular speed. Okay, so the ATR is 45 pips, right, guys? This is, whoever doesn't know, this is a pip. Okay, it's the fourth digit after the decimal, and I'm taking 0.1. That means that every pip here will be worth $1. Okay, so when I'm increasing by 10 pips, I'm actually increasing the value here at the possible profit. If I increase by another 10, gonna go by another 10. If I increase it by 100, goes up by 100. Very simple. 1,000, so obviously 1,000. Yeah, very simple. Let's put it back to where it's been. Okay, never mind. Let's keep it as it is. 1 point. All right, let's just increase that by maybe 200. Okay, and in here we're going to do the same. We're going to reduce it by 200. Okay, so we have, and here we're going to write down 200. And in here we have, let's keep it as it is. Okay, so we have 10,000. How do I know that this is 10,000? So we have two tabs in here to the right. We have the order entry, which we are putting the numbers in, and we have, I'm going to show you after I'm done, because if I click here, it's going to reset the whole thing. So I'm going to show you, but if I click here, it's going to show me all the details for this currency pair, the lot size, the overnight fee, and everything that I need to know. Now, okay, how does that work exactly? And the take profit, we said, okay, entry. Right. Now, as you can see, this position, 200 out of my 10,000 is 2%. Okay, if 10% out of 10,000 is 1,000, so 200 is 2%. So I'm going to write here exposure 2%. Okay. Now let's suppose that I have another 2 or 3 positions. Similarly, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking perhaps to make it a little bigger. Let's make it a little bigger. Let's make it this way, half a lot. And then this becomes 1,000, right? And this becomes, oh, it's a little too much. Let's make it 4% instead. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to achieve here, I just want to explain to you about why have I put it this way and why I keep changing the numbers. If I'm only taking one position, the exposure for my account stays the same. Okay, let's keep it as it is, just to show you. And then my risk management is very easy. I have one position. This is how much margin I'm using. This is how much I can lose. This is how much I can gain. One position is not a problem. When I have more than one position, as I was about to show you guys, let's suppose I have 2 more. My exposure per position is 2%, but my overall exposure is not 2%, it's 6%. So the balance the whole account is exposed 6% and not 2%. Okay, this is why I kept changing the numbers, because I wanted to get to a round number to show you how to adjust it. Now, 2% is actually can be considered as relatively low exposure. Okay, even though I can go for 0.5% or even 1% if I would want to. And if I would want to adjust it, as I showed you, one way is to decrease the lot size. The other way is to get the stop loss closer. So if I take it up by another 100 pips, you see that the 200 here will change to 100. Yeah, and then my exposure from 2% becomes 1. Okay? Then I can do it with all of my positions, and I can adjust it to the right risk money management that I want. And if I understand, okay, I'm exposed, as I was about to show you, if I'm exposed up to 1,000, let me bring it back. I'm exposed to 1,000 out of my 10,000, and that's 10%, and I don't like it. Okay, let's suppose that I can simply either move the stop loss closer. It's not here anymore. 105. So what I can do is I can either get my stop loss closer, right, to my entry, and then I'm closing the gap between the length of my entry to the stop loss, or I can reduce, like I said, the lot size. And when I minimize the lot size, if I cut it by half, it cuts my stop loss, my possible loss by half. And that allows me to manage my risk. It allows me to manage my risk not only in my particular position, but overall on all of my positions. And I can modify the stop loss as I move. I can also modify the lot size, but it's not, I don't want to get into that now, but I can partially close the position if I want, and so on. Okay. All right. So guys, do we have any questions about that question? Took us some time, but I guess to teach you how to do risk money management, it's quite useful. So no problem. Any questions, guys? Any questions about that or about the previous currency pair that I showed? Excellent, excellent. So I'm just going to write here the answer. Let's somehow make it a little smaller. Risk money management is allowing you to manage your potential losses, exposure, and what else can I add here? So basically, as I've explained to you, you can use the stop loss to do risk money management, and you can determine your exposure per position or for the whole account. Okay, your potential losses and exposure. Wise way. All right. Showed on the chart. There's no really need to put long description here. How to optimize better entry. Okay. So for the entry, let's take something else to diverse. Let's take silver. Okay, let's suppose that I'm looking at silver. Silver is one of the safe havens. It's not a secret. It's right now heading to another resistance. Okay, just a second. All right, we can see that silver now is in a very, very interesting point. Okay, and to enter now, while it's still bullish without any close resistance, well, you can say that 28,950 is pretty close, right? Maybe a little lower than that. Let's make it this way. So as you can see, the silver now, oh, we are still on this. Let's click sell or buy. So this is a nice trick. If you guys putting the asset and it's still on the previous asset, I don't know if you noticed, but I was in here, I was on Euro USD. And when I click sell or buy, it's going to change the asset that I'm trading. Okay, my order entry. Oh, and what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you is that if you click on instrument details, you can scroll down and you can get all the information which I spoke about before, right? With currencies, this is 100,000. Now we're looking at silver, that's 10,000. Okay, there is, I'm not sure we have time to speak about it now, but there is certain importancy for the lot size, okay, which you can know because it has different impact on your margin. If you're taking one lot with something that has 100 in lot or something that has 10,000 in lot, because when I'm taking one lot, my value is actually determined by the price here multiplied by the amount of units. Okay, so that makes a lot of difference if you're trading an asset with a lot size of 1,000 or 100 or 10,000. Never mind. I don't want to delay about it too much. Let's just focus on the question, and if we'll have spare time, we'll get into that as well. Now, support and resistance. One of the most famous tools we're using is support and resistance. I've placed swiftly some lines here to help us understand the levels here a bit more visibly, and we can see that right now we're heading very, very close. Let's see when it was yeah, that was yesterday. It was yesterday, okay. It didn't break. As you can see, this is the resistance that I marked is one of two lines. I know it doesn't let me. Just a second. All right. There is another one here. Maybe I can scroll down a bit. Still, it's going to give us a hustle to get there. Never mind. Let's stay with that. There is a higher line. We are looking at 28.7. This is give or take. I'm going to put an oval around it. Okay, this is the next resistance that I see. It's approximately $1 up, a little less than $1. Okay, we're gonna simulate that and see how we can optimize the entry here. So when I'm looking at the price that we have now, and I want to buy now. Let's suppose that I want to buy now. Okay, you can see. I'm gonna change it to weeks. You can see that in the beginning of the week, it started going down. And how can I possibly know that? Because let me put a rectangle around it. We can't really do that. Okay. How can I possibly know that? Because we have this tiny thin line coming out of the candle. And if I'm going to change it to days, we will see it together. Let's put some lines around it. Okay, and those are the levels. You see it went down to 26. Right? It started going down. It went this way. It went down by roughly 40 cents, and only then it went up, right? So I have a reason to believe that it might happen similarly next week. And because we are on Wednesday now, Okay, this is an example. Of course, things can change, guys. You've seen how gold and silver flew in the past 2 weeks, so anything can change in a minute. But I can think, okay, maybe I don't want to. If I'm planning for a buy, okay, this is only in a buy scenario. There are two scenarios: buy and sell, which I can go for. Let's suppose that I believe that where is the line that we've placed? It was here, right? Suddenly it looks a bit different. All right, never mind. So as you can see, right now we're looking at the next resistance, and I might think, okay, if I'm buying now, it can still, there is a possibility it will go down. I'm not sure if it's going to break the resistance or not because it failed in here, right? Now, how can I optimize my entry? I can say, listen, I don't want to necessarily buy here. What I want to do is first, I want to confirm that silver is indeed going up because I don't want to get tangled. I don't want to buy and then silver goes down. Okay. So what I can think is I can think, listen, if it goes a little lower, maybe to here, okay, maybe even to, I want to exaggerate. Let's say, yeah, let's say 26.5. Okay, so let's go 26.5. So I want to buy when it's here. Okay. So how can I do that? I'm gonna click on execute when price hits. In the price, I'm gonna place 26.5, and then I can design my position. And I can know, okay, if I'm planning to make, as an example, I don't know, 1,000, then I know, okay, let me just show you here. If I'm planning to make 1,000 and I'm planning to enter here, let's say in here, and I'm planning to close it just $1 higher. How much is $1 higher? Okay, in here, 27.5. Okay, and let's suppose that I want to close it somewhere here. If it goes any farther, I don't want to keep the position open, okay? So I'm going to place here 27.5. And I'm going to place here 26.5. Sorry, 25.5, my bad. Yeah, and oh, okay. Well, we are with a nice lot size, okay? Now, as you can see, this is exactly what I've explained 5 minutes ago. Because silver, the lot size is 1 to 10,000, and one lot occupies 10,000 ounces. So 10,000 ounces multiply $1 gets us $10,000, but we can also lose 10,000. Furthermore, we don't even have enough margin to occupy this position. Okay, so the lot size need to be modified. Let's say, I don't know, 0.1, and perfect. Oh, let me show you. Just a second, something doesn't add up. Oh, this one just moved a little. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we adjusted the lot size. Now everything makes sense. You saw how did I optimize the entry here? So I said, okay, the trend is 2 bullish candles. We have no specific indication on when silver is gonna turn around. But if it turns around to that level, I'm gonna take a buy. This is one example. However, there is no guarantee it will go down to that level. And if it goes down to that level, it might carry on down, right? There is a question here by Pack, recording of this webinar. No problem. No problem. Pack, as I've explained, the webinar is recorded anyway. You can just see it later on YouTube. Okay, it's not a problem. Now, so as I was about to explain, first, if I'm going to take a buy now, there is a possibility it will go down. So if it goes down, I want to catch it around that area, and then I'm hoping it will go further up, and then I can have my 1,000. However, if I would be so sure that it's going down, I could simply take a sell and put here a take profit, right? Let me show you. I'm going to turn this off, I'm going to switch to a sell. This one goes back to 0.1. And with a sell, I can simply go 26.5, even less than that. There we go. But the problem is that I'm not entirely sure if or when silver is going down. And this is why I'm using pending orders. Okay, this is for my sell scenario. So if I'm going to go with a buy scenario, as I've showed, I can go with execute when price hits, and then I can launch it in here. If I'm going to go for the sell scenario, maybe because we're already at the peak, I can sell it, okay, as it is. This is two scenarios that can help me optimize my entry. I didn't really optimize with the sell scenario, more with a buy, but I could just as much go with execute when price hits and place it somewhere maybe here if I'm going for a reversal, right? Sell, then if it triggers, it goes down. However, because it's close to the resistance, and I might think, listen, if it passes that point, I suspect it might go further up, okay? Right. Do we have any questions, guys, at this stage? I can also write a little description here. Yeah, this is more for MT4 and MT5 users, but we used to call it in the past, we used to call it pending buy and pending sell, sell stop and buy stop. All right, to optimize your entry, you can set the price to launch a position with pending order, execute when price hits. You can also get into analysis and take it further to deeper depths, but right now we don't need that. How much of my margin should I use in a position? Okay, let's look at what's happening here. So in this position, I'm about to use almost 28% of my margin, right? Now, how much should I really use? Is that okay? By the way, if I'm using it in a single position, could be. Let's suppose position A, I'm using this. Position B, using, I don't know, let's split it to 3. With gold, let's say we have, I don't know, 0.25. And in here, Nasdaq, we're gonna make it, let's make it 0.03, right? Right, so we have 2.7. So that's position, that's, I think that was C, right? We got into C, position C. In here with gold, We said 0.25. That's 29. 29. Right. Now, when I'm using, so this I just wanted to show just another one. Let's suppose that my next one is, okay, let's quickly add them all up. Now, why is that so important to be able to manage your margin, right? I would think as long as I have enough, oh, sorry, I need to add. As long as I have enough, I'm pretty good, right? Who cares about the margin? But if I don't have enough margin, what happens? Who knows what happens when I don't have enough margin, guys? It's quite mandatory to know, right? If I don't have enough margin, my margin level drops below the requirement, what will happen is my position will be closed. Okay, so as you can see in here, I already exceeded my margin by 1,153. So by this positions alone, three positions, I'm at, let's see together. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing that I'm using this much out of my balance if my positions are well composed and I'm using stop loss and I do risk money management, and okay, I'm watching my account. But if I'm not doing that and I have my margins spread to different assets and I'm opening more and more positions, I might get caught with not enough margin. And then what will happen, as I have explained, is the platform will close my position. Okay? And that might be a problem because then I can accidentally wipe out my account. And I don't want to wipe out my account. So, okay? Now, the question is how much margin I should use in a position. But the problem with this question is, first, I don't know how many positions I'm going to take, right? So this question needs to be more specific. But let's suppose that my diversification is often with 4 to 5, or let's exaggerate. Let's take it another step. So let's say I'm usually diversifying with 10. Yeah, 10 positions. I understand that if I'm going to take this position using 30% of my margin, it might be challenging for me to take 10 positions with this enough margin, with this much margin, right? So I need to again adjust the lot size in a way that makes sense. So if I'm going to go with 0.1, there we go. We already minimized. Of course, it's important to know that the higher or the lower the lot size, the higher or the lower my profit or loss, right? We understand that. But when I'm changing the lot, I'm also changing my margin impact. Now, how does that work? It works very, very simply. We're going to go price per unit times units equals value. And then we have value divided by leverage equals margin impact. Okay. And then margin impact equals necessary amount to open a position. Okay, very, very simple. So in other words, while I'm adjusting the lot size, I'm actually adjusting how much margin I need. This is something that you can't find on MT4 and MT5. So in the beginning, to have a good grip on how it works, I would probably recommend to use the web trader. If you're using the MT4 or MT5, you should know that it correlates with the platform anyway. And you can do the analysis here and execute on MT4 or MT5 and vice versa. Okay, but this is a very good tool to have it presented here. And of course, the possible profit, the possible loss before I'm even taking a position. It lets me adjust my ratio. Okay. So again, I'm going to write here a brief description. So we're going to have to determine how much margin should be used on the position. Actually, no, I don't want to put it this way. The margin using is determined depending on the strategy. And on the diversification. Right. Which is the number of positions that I'm taking, and so on and so on. The number of assets. Can someone trade on my behalf? No. AvaTrade does offer third-party copy trading solutions, such as AvaSocial. That's actually not a third party, but so I'm going to put here does offer copy trading through AvaSocial and third-party copy trading solutions. So we have AvaSocial, which is ours, and we also have third-party copy trading solutions. Can get more information through your senior account manager. Okay, just the idea with AvaSocial, it's super simple. So in AvaSocial, let's get that. Let's get that and do it properly. So let's change back to the one chart. We don't really need all of that. Okay. Right. So where is social? Okay. So in AvaSocial, what you can do is you can follow or copy someone. When you're following someone, what will happen is you're going to get notifications or messages with his positions, and it's up to you to simply take a position or not. If you're copying somebody, what will happen is the same thing, but the positions will be executed automatically. So I would suggest, if you're using the copying function, to make the adjustment properly and to make sure that the balances are computable, and you won't end up taking exaggerated lot size or something like that. Okay, and then you can enjoy the service to its full extent. Both cases, copy and follow, you can always delink the account and change it if you want. You can keep track about the progress and everything from your account. Okay, all right. Who can help me with this? Is obviously customer service, without any doubt. CS at AvaTrade. This is customer service which you can reach out, and you obviously have also an account manager. So senior account manager. Or the customer service. You don't have to send an email. You have here the chat. You can access them through the chat with us, or the WhatsApp. And yeah, senior account manager, to be honest, can be much. Customer service is assisting with customer service. So in case you have a customer service query, they will assist you. If you have a trading query regarding calculations, regarding what I've explained, regarding something that's going on here in the chart or the platform, you might want to contact your senior account manager.
Okay, Senior Account Manager has very, very powerful tools, educational-wise, trading-wise, that can assist you with your journey. Now I'm going to share with you some links. Okay, we're going to send you over the chat. If I could just find the chat button here. It's always, there we go. All right, I hope that you're getting the links that I'm sending you now on the chat. Okay, this is the link that I sent primarily is for the education. And okay, I'm going to show you the videos in a minute. The second one is to make a deposit, to log in and make a deposit. The third one is for the help at the FAQ in the help center. Okay, now that one is for a real account, whoever is still playing with the demo, and that's for the academy. Now I wanted to show you that on the website itself, you can just go here, and in here where it looks like YouTube kind of icon, right? You see it here where it says education. So I can click on tutorials, and then it's going to show me a whole beautiful library with all kind of things, all kind of videos which I can just educate myself with all kind of things about the overnight fee, about stop loss and take profit, about entry, really all kind of things. There's so many content in here. This is not really the purpose of this webinar, but I'm just going to show you you have all kind of things here that you can just use, right? We made it accessible for you guys to enjoy comfortably, so you won't have to to struggle to find the functions. All right. Yeah, so I shared with you the links. This we already pretty went through that, but fortunately we don't have time for analysis. But I guess we did pretty good things today. Risk money management, entry, margin. All right, guys, before we say goodbye, because we still have another 3 minutes, would anyone want to take advantage and ask any question, even about what I've explained or other questions? I'm sorry, by the way, that I didn't leave too much room for questions in between because I showed it on the chart, but I hope that it was understood. Anybody wants to ask anything, to share with us anything before we say goodbye? All right, so we have a question from Lee. What would you recommend to begin with? Well, look, it's not something that I can just recommend. You know, you can, to be honest, Lee, whatever you begin with is great as long as you're doing it properly. And whatever you begin with doesn't really make too much difference. You know, you can just make your research slowly and surely, find an asset that you feel comfortable with, and start acquiring those skills. Risk money management, analysis, both technical and fundamental analysis, good understanding how the margin works. That's what I would do. And then when you, yeah, exactly. As Philip wrote here, just begin. There is no best, there is no secret asset to begin with. They're all great. You can make money with everything, same as you can lose money with everything. You do it properly, it should work better. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate everybody who has assisted me today from the audience. I wish you all a fruitful week. Okay, make a lot of profits. And that's it. I'll see you next week and have a good day.